Sarah Huckabee Sanders completing her first 100 days in office. Some of her most touted pieces of legislation include the Arkansas Learns Act, which increases teachers' salaries, opens a voucher program, prohibits critical race theory, and bans classroom instruction on gender identity. The Protect Arkansas Act, adding 3,000 more beds of prison space, requiring those convicted of violent felonies to serve their entire sentence. And she also signed the bill that reduces the state income tax. And 4029's Brett Rain sits down with the governor as she touts her accomplishments and tells us what's next.
Out of those, safe to say the accomplishment you're most proud of, education reform, am I correct?
Absolutely. That was the first and biggest priority I had going into this session, because I think it is so imperative and has such an impact on everything else we do here in the state. We have to have a solid foundation on education and making sure that our students are prepared to go into the workforce when they graduate, and we have brought about the change that I think is going to allow them to do that.
And of course, it was met with opponents, critics. There's a movement to try and repeal it before it's actually in place. What's your message to those opponents and critics?
You know, it was also met with tremendous support. I traveled across the state of Arkansas. I went to all 75 counties over the course of 2 years, and I campaigned on exactly that, and I won overwhelmingly. So clearly there was a desire not only for that to happen, but for me to be elected and to help implement that change. So I'm really proud that we were able to deliver on one of the biggest promises that we made on the campaign. Certainly anytime you have change and things that are different, you're going to have questions and you're going to have critics, but I think that when people see and really look at the way this will boost every child in our state up, I think it's going to change some of the critics into supporters as well.
But you know, several of these, they're not immediately implemented, but won't be fully implemented for what, 2 or 3 years. Do you expect to see results sooner than that?
Well, there are a couple of the key pieces that go into effect, particularly when it comes to the Learns Act, that will be in place by the fall of next year. Our educational freedom accounts will open up to some students this first year. That will expand in the second year, and by year 3, every student in the state of Arkansas. Getting rid of things like CRT and indoctrination in our schools, that's happening and going into effect immediately. Teacher pay raises and people having more money in their pocket that they will spend in their backyards and their own communities. That's going into effect immediately in the fall of next year. So a lot of the key components are going into effect right away, and I do expect that we'll see some of the results and the impact of that quickly.
Got you. So much accomplished. What's next? Now I know legislative session. Talk about your focus now. Plus, you have to get these laws implemented.
Absolutely. The implementation process will be a big part of the next couple of months, making sure that we're prepared when school starts back in the fall, particularly when it comes to Arkansas Learns. The other, I think, big areas of focus moving forward, getting ready for the fiscal session next year, looking at all of the government inefficiencies and ways that we can adjust our budget so that we can continue phasing out our state income tax, passing that savings on to the taxpayer, doing a better job spending taxpayer dollars and making sure the programs that we're investing and spending so heavily in are actually meeting the needs of Arkansans. We also, as you know, we were hit with devastating storms just about 3 weeks ago. The recovery and rebuild process from that is a long road. We want to make sure that every Arkansan that has a need, that those needs are being met. I've never been more proud to be the governor of Arkansas than I have been over the last couple of weeks, watching so many of our friends and our neighbors and fellow Arkansans step up and take care of one another. It's pretty refreshing to see every corner that you turn down, a little tent popped up where people are passing out water and food and just providing for people many cases that they've never met before. And so that's going to be a big part of what we focus on here in the next couple of months, is that recovery and rebuild process, and then getting ready for our fiscal session next year.
There's been a lot of talk about Medicaid. It started in April. We saw people being removed from the rolls, due to the end of the pandemic and sort of stuff. I've heard talk, do you have concerns as far as our current Medicaid process in the state and moving forward? I've heard that that's something that you are considering trying to address. Is that
I think any time that we can make a government program better, we have to look at that. And so certainly that's got to be part of the conversation. How do we have long-term sustainability and make sure that the needs of Arkansans are met, but at the same time that we don't bankrupt the state, making that program more efficient, modernizing it. Those will be things that we look at over the coming months.
I've heard some say, is that worthy of a special session?
It's certainly on the table, but we want to make sure that we have solutions, that we're not just showing up for the purpose of being there. If we don't have real solutions and a real plan to bring to the table, then I would not call a special session. But if we have a good roadmap in front of us on how to do that, then it certainly would be something to consider.